last hope. They have to win or draw this match to retain a chance in the series, this final day of the 5th Cornhill Test match at Old Trafford. So 296 they need to win before a ball is bowled, and England to win need 5 wickets. Conditions were excellent again, a bit more cloud today, so it might have assisted the bowlers just a little bit, but you can take it from me that conditions for batting today, as far as the Australians were concerned, absolutely ideal. Border and Marsh were the overnight not-out batsmen. Border on 28, and Marsh hadn't yet scored coming into the fall of Kent's wicket yesterday evening. Here's the 3rd over now. It's Ian Botham coming in to bowl to Rodney Marsh. There have been 3 runs added, and in the commentary box, Peter Parfitt and Jim Laker.
A streaky couple of runs here at least. Really giving chase. And Marsh coming back to make it into 3. Well, there's no need to run there. Bob Willis put away in very effective style by Marsh. That's a tremendous yahoo. Nearly put his ears back and let fly 4 more.
I can't really describe that by saying that's a good shot. A wahoo, I think, is about the only way we can describe it, but it did go along the floor and it did go for 4 runs.
Well, there's no need to run there. And Border picking his spot quite delightfully there. There's another bouncer. And once again, he's got into position well. Hooked it way down the long leg. 4 more to Rod Marsh. Another short one, another hook, another 4. So Rod Marsh dishing out the treatment now to these short pitch deliveries from Bob Willis.
And that's 4 less they've got to get, or 4 fewer. 4 more to Alan Border. Lovely crisp stroke off the back foot. And that brings up the 50 partnership between Border and Marsh, and they've scored at a very healthy rate and kept Australia not only in with a chance of avoiding defeat, but in with an outside chance of winning this game and making history by a mile. Slow one, it kept low, but neither of those factors stopped Rodney Marsh bashing it away for 4 to square leg. And that's well struck by Marsh. But David Gower has put him down. He picked it up, it went all the way down to deep square, and Gower just inside the rope. He may have been unaware where the rope was, I think. And in fact, it has gone for 6, but there's no doubt that it was a chance. .276 for 5 then. 230 runs needed for what would be an absolutely sensational Australian win. Bearing in mind that the most ever scored to win a test in the 4th innings is 406, and that reduces the amount needed still further. Border taking his top hand off the handle as he has once or twice when going for a full-blooded stroke, but still hitting it firmly for 4. It was a fairly friendly full toss.
And even with a bad hand, we don't miss out on those.
And there is a really fine 50 by Alan Border, completed. 51 out of 282 for 5. And he came in when defeat seemed a good deal more inevitable than it does now. And that's 4 more, and Getting is being made to look very ordinary by Alan Border. And on this pitch, in all honesty, he is. So really going well for Australia.
And Australia only requiring 220 to win, with quite a lot of time left.
Out after it, but he can't catch it.
He's been given by umpire Ken Palmer, caught at the wicket by Alan Knott of Bob Willis. A big shout from Knott and Willis and the slip fielders, and the 6th wicket goes down for 296. 210 still needed for Australia, but England now need only 4 wickets. It's the single to Border. Ray Bright hasn't yet adjusted his strokes off the back foot to Willis's pace. He has to face him again now. That single bringing up the 300 for Australia. 206 needed, or 4 wickets. Bright's not off the mark, and Allard is coming around the wicket to Border, still with 3 slips and a short forward square. Good shot. He's played a couple of those, mainly through extra cover. That was square of ordinary cover, and a glorious stroke.
And front foot right to the pitch of the ball there. Any young left-handers watching? That's the way to play it.
It's a good shot. 2 marvellous shots in this over from Alan Border. The first one, a great cover drive, and then that was just about the classic square cut.
And beautifully across, and doesn't he give that a crack?
And it is. Ray Bright goes on to 2, and the total to 317 for 6. And what a good innings that fellow's played. Yes, he has played a splendid innings there, and 70 not out. That is a fine performance from a young fellow. Although he's had quite a bit of experience in those 26 years, he's doing a marvellous job there today with that damaged hand. Ray Bright is 2 not out, and a very, very good innings, and a good partnership there between Marsh and Border. 317 for 6, and we pick up play now in the 4th over after the luncheon interval. Just 1 run added. Bob Willis is coming in to bowl to Ray Bright, and in the commentary box it's Peter Parfitt and Jim Laker.
It's overpitched, driven quite respectively through mid-off. No great power in it, but it'll bring him 2 runs. Still a long way to go. 184 wanted, 4 wickets left. And he's given him another diving catch down the leg side by Alan Knott, and the batsman slightly reluctant to leave.
Down the leg side, short. It looks as if Ray Bright has got a glove on it, if anything. And Alan Knott dives down the leg side to take A good catch.
And Lilly to face his first ball. That's confidently away, over pitch ball, just about half volley in fact on leg stump. And put away very nicely by Lilly. Just about to be pulled up, he'll take 3.
Shot. That's how half volleys ought to be played.
A classic shot, this. It is of a half volley length, pitched right up outside the off stump, and he plays a fine shot for 4 runs. I think the great Neil Harvey himself would have been proud with that.
And that's very well played indeed by Lilly. Hooked along the ground in front of square. For the umpteenth time in the last 2 days, emphasizing the real docility of this pitch, because he had plenty of time to play that shot.
Yes, Dennis Lilly doesn't even have to go back to play that shot. He plays it almost where he is. He has plenty of time to play the shot, which shows the pace of the wicket at this stage.
So the 350 up. No mid-off, so it's perfectly safe. Long chase back for David Gower. I think he'll defeat the ball, but they should get 3. Lovely shot. Oh my word, that travelled like a bullet. He's hit so many fine square cuts, and I think that's just about the best of them.
Look, he gets right across, leans into the ball, gets his head over the ball, and hits it very hard indeed.
$362 for 7, with 144 still needed, and about an hour and 45 minutes plus the final 20 overs to go. So there's plenty of time for Australia.
Start of this over, John Embry. Up comes the 50 partnership, and that's another very, very good effort from the Australians today. What a catch! Both of them, what a marvellous catch that was. It was out of his reach, I'll swear. And he took it 2 hands, it wasn't even a one-hand grab. Nothing wrong with the shot. You can bet your life that Lilly labelled it 4 runs from the moment it left the bat. 373 now for 8. Just 2 wickets to go for England, and Allott has broken through. Both of them is away on the left-hand side of your picture. That's a good shot from Border. What a nice way to bring up 100, and what a good 100 that is. He's let go of the bat with that left hand, and I'm not surprised. There's been a lot of pain all the way through there. An even 100 for Allan Border, an extraordinary innings of courage and skill, with tremendous emphasis on the courage.
And he's got to go, LBW, yes. Thought all of them looking a little disappointed. As though it was going to bowl him until one realised it had hit the pads, and that's usually a pretty good sign that he's right in front. So the 9th Australian wicket goes down at 378. They still need 128, and now it's almost over. Oh no, he's going to get now. He could go all the way for 4, which will be what Border doesn't want. And Gara allowing it to run over the rope. So that's 4 more runs, somewhat unwillingly garnered by Alan Border. One ball to go before tea. Whitney's still to get off the mark, but he's done very well to hang on. And everybody now around the bat. Memories of the Oval at 1968. That famous photograph when everybody was in to watch Underwood getting in Verity out. That hits the pad, there's an appeal, but it's not out. No, that's through. And Allott setting after it without any great haste because England are quite prepared to let it go to the boundary. So another boundary for Alan Border, and he's still got one more ball of the over to try and get a single or a 3 from to keep the strike. But that 4 brings up the 400 for Australia, and that's a performance of great character when they appear to be very demoralised. Oh, and it was a chance. That was a chance. Alan not missing Alan Border outside the off stump. It turned just enough, kept a bit low perhaps, and Notty put it down.
No question about that. Alan Border went tentatively forward, got an outside edge, and Alan Knott has dropped his first chance of the match.
Yes, he's out caught at forward short leg by Mike Gatting. Bat and pad. Whitney unhappy to go, but England have retained the Ashes. Willis taking the final wicket, and Mike Brearley's triumph completed. Coming back to captain England at Headingley, and Ian Botham, who has played such a big part in this match and whose wonderful innings at Headingley turned the series, which seemed destined certainly to go for Australia. And Ian Botham showing the true sportsmanship that these Ashes contests are all about and have been all these years, more than 100 years, shaking Alan Border by the hand, because Border is perhaps the real hero of this last day, even though he's a hero in defeat.
And that's exactly what Alan Border was, a hero in defeat. 123 not out, a fractured third finger on his left hand. He showed tremendous courage and skill and temperament there. And my word, not only can he be proud of that innings, but everyone who knows him can be proud of the fact that they witnessed that here today, watch it on television, listen to it on the radio, or will eventually read about it in newspapers or books. A wonderful hand that from a fine young Australian cricketer. 28 there to Dennis Lillee, played very well, and what a blinder of a catch that was from Ian Botham. Ball was well past him, I thought, and he snatched it out of thin air with 2 hands. 402, and the England bowlers, the heroes there for Mike Brearley's team. Bob Willis 3 for 96, he came in again there and picked up wickets at the end. Paul Allott 2 for 71. Ian Botham 2 for 86, did a lot of work there and bowled off and off a short run. John Embry 2 for 107. Mike Gatting just used there to try and purchase a wicket. No wicket for 13. So the Ashes go to England and the series goes to England. Man of the match, well, who else would you give it to but Ian Botham, who played that marvellous knock the other day, picked up wickets and took that splendid catch. And I don't think Mike Brearley, as he talked to Peter West after the game, would have the slightest objection to that.
And it's many congratulations to the winning Mike Brearley.
Thank you, Peter.
The Ashes retained, sure of winning the series. 3 wins in a row since you came back to take up the captaincy. That must add up to something very special in any cricketer's life.
A lot of luck, I think. And a lot of skill, of course, shown by the players. Terrific performances. Ian Botham, I suppose the 2 best performances of all, Ian Botham and Bob Willis over the 3 matches. Absolutely marvellous.
Yes.
Bob, perhaps, you know, you'd have said there was a fair chance when we started the second innings at Headingley that he wouldn't have played anymore for England. And he's come and shown that he's the fastest bowler, well, perhaps except for Jeff Lawson, who's been injured, but the fastest bowler apart from him in the series, and he's bowled really well.
But Australia made a splendid fight of it today, didn't they?
They certainly did. We were worried several times. I mean, last night when Kim was batting with Graham Yallop, and then today when Rod Marsh was in with Alan Border.
You felt getting rid of Rodney Marsh was...
it was very important.
Yes.
Fine player. He played jolly well.
Yes. And what about the innings, Kim, of Alan Border?
I think it typified Alan Border's career. You know, he's one of the finest players I feel that's represented Australia and ever will, really. They talk about the greats in the past, but Alan's performance stands up with those, and he's done it under pressure. You know, I've seen him on turning wickets in Pakistan get 250s. And I mean, today's effort was, Mike's played against him a number of times, and it was typical of the fellow himself, and he's only 26, 27 or something, you know, so very, very proud indeed of him.
At about 4 o'clock, he played a missed the ball for me and Botham, and Alan Knott said he's played a missed. I mean, that, you know, literally, you could probably count on the fingers of one hand the number of times he played a missed in 6 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a magnificent innings, and he had a broken hand as well.
So far as this match is concerned, Kim, I suppose it was the Australian batting in the first innings that really got you into the card.
Yeah, you know, again, we had England the other day in their second innings, 5 for 104, and their last 5 batsmen put on 300. And then our first innings just wasn't good enough. You know, it was a good wicket, but it's been mainly Bob Willis that's got the early breakthrough. And even in this second innings, you know, chasing 500, I felt we had a fair chance to sort of put up a good show, but there was a run out and early wickets and that sort of thing. And after that, we couldn't afford to make too many mistakes. But I was pleased the way the fellas fought on, but very disappointing actually that we've lost the series, because I sort of felt that there's been so little in it, and it's basically been really, I think, Ian Botham that's been the difference, because he's had that ability to swing a game with either, you know, his catch today to get rid of Dennis was unbelievable.
It doesn't seem so long ago, Mike, since you followed on at Headingley, and around about the Monday, middle of the day, you were still about 80 behind and only a few wickets in hand and packing your bags.
That's right, could have been 2-0. And then we just struggled to win at Birmingham.
Right.
So, I mean, that is what the game is like, and it can seem easy afterwards, or it can seem easy to people a long way off, but it isn't, and it's so balanced.
Can I go back to Kim? We've heard so many views about Ian Botham's mighty performance this innings here. You touched on it briefly, Mike. From your point of view, Kim, the man who had to set a field and sort out his bowling against this astonishing assault.
Yeah, if you don't get him early, he seems to get hundreds. But he's so strong that, and he hits straight. He doesn't hit across the ball too much, but he hits straight. I think at times we've tended to bowl a little bit short and give him a little bit of width. But I thought yesterday's innings was one of the greatest innings I've seen, and by far away a lot better innings than he played at Headingley, although it was a different wicket completely. But once he gets going, you know, when he could have been out, Mike Whitney could have caught him, you know, Ian sort of smashed one way up in the air or something, and it would have been a very, very difficult catch, but if he had his middle dolly knocked out of the ground, it could have been a totally different game. But I mean, that's the way Ian will play, and whoever ever tries to change him should be lynched. And I mean, as long as you've got Ian Botham, England will have a chance of winning, because basically, again, when he's played well, England have won. And it's been a long while since England have won games, and it's been a long while since Ian Botham's produced the form as he has in the last 3 tests. So really, he should be put away and treated very, very gently.
Well, understandably there, Kim Hughes a little more subdued, but not as subdued as he might have been, because Australia really did fight very, very well today. That was a splendid performance by the batsmen, and yesterday as well. Don't forget Graham Yallop's excellent innings yesterday that gave Australia just a glimmer of hope. So England have won the Ashes. That's not so desperate as far as the Australians are concerned, as was losing this match was lost in the series as well, because if they could have got a draw out of this game, they could still have squared the series at the Oval, and now it's just a matter of playing down there to salvage some pride. But they certainly re-established themselves as far as the batting goes on the last 2 days of this Test match. They lost it with their batting in the first innings.
It's Test match history.
Oh, beautiful stroke, beautiful stroke.
And he's done it. Welcome to the highlights, where Australia declared their innings at 344 for 9, setting England 383 to win the match. It was a real outside chance for England. Australia needed 10 wickets, and we pick up play now in the very first over. No runs on the board as the fourth ball, and those two old adversaries, Dennis Lillee and Geoffrey Boycott, are in action. In the commentary box, Tom Graveney is with Jim Laker.
And very, very close, well worthy of a shout. And in fact, he's given him out. Some delay there by Barry Mayer. But finally, Boycott goes, and it's the old story, 100 in one innings and out for naught in the second. But it looked to me particularly good shout. Well, that must be almost a wide. It is, in fact, a wide, way down the leg side. And again, it proved the athleticism there of Rod Marsh behind it. A long, long way to go. So the first run on the board is a wide.
And this is Dennis Lillee's in-swinger. You can see him pushing it across.
And that's a good shot. Half volley, Tavares away, puts the first runs on the board for England. And he'll make it into 3. The fielder there, Dirk Wellham. And I would think he had a pretty good night's sleep last night. Thoughtful Kim Hughes there, just behind on the leg side. And Larkin's away. Just nice quiet push off the back foot. And always nice to get your first run in a test innings. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. It's round about leg middle, clipped nicely through mid-wicket. Fielder has given it up, but he's having second thoughts. It's still going to beat him. So the first boundary of the day, and a really good one too.
And he's caught him. Martin Kent had slipped. And Whitney breaks through, the one that goes away off the seam. He really cut the fingers down across that one, and Martin Kent clutched onto it, possibly at the second attempt, but it was a good catch, going very, very fast. Chris Tavares is out, caught Kent bowled Whitney for 8. It's 18 for 2 England. There's a half shot there. That looked to me as though it was probably squeezed into the ground. Might get a better idea of it from the replay. Yallop looks disappointed.
Just watch this carefully. I think it was a half volley, and I think it was possibly a chance. Yeah, definitely. He hit it well up the bat, but it went very, very quickly to Graham Yallop in the gully. A magnificent effort there.
A good shot. Very strong in that arc between mid-wicket and extra cover, Mike Gatting. And that was a lovely stroke. There's 4 there. Mightn't have had his foot across, but he certainly had the bat there. He gave it a tremendous thump. He's gone to double figures.
Middle of the bat and straight down the ground by Mike Gatting. Three runs to Mike Gatting. Good shot, that. Applause for the half century up. 2 wickets down for the half century. Ooh, off the edge, but all along the ground. Two of those excellent slip fielders, Terry Alderman and Martin Kent. Very bright as to retrieve the ball. A lovely shot. A very short ball, and got the obvious treatment from Mike Gadding. Wonderful shot. Just 2 fielders on the leg side, so he can swing it any way he likes.
And 4 more were added to that little flurry of runs just before lunch to take the score at the interval up to 83 for 2. A very good knock that by Mike Gadding for 46. We pick up play now in the second over after lunch. 2 runs added, and it's Dennis Lillee coming into bowl to Mike Gadding. In the commentary box with me is Tom Graveney. Shot, didn't quite get it, so it won't go for 4. It'll be just pulled up inside by Hughes. .88 for 2 and 295 needed, with Lillee bowling to Larkins. And he's got him. That's a good ball. That lifted sharply, and Lillee really is in good touch here today, and in fact throughout the match. He's just started to get it right, and from the look of him, he's also just starting to get his health right. And he's looking a different fellow in the last week. Great try by Whitney and a great try by Lillee as well. And that must be one of the closest things I've ever seen to a pair.
If you watch the line of this ball, you can tell how close it goes. Pushing forward to begin with, coming on to him a little bit quickly, I think.
Didn't quite get that, but it's good enough for 3 runs. Terry Alderman doing the chasing, and Parker can come back. It's 50 to Mike Gadding, and a good knock that. He's very consistent without having yet gone on to make the really big one. It's a better shot. He's kept that down, and he's hit it away there for an easy 2. Can come back to 1 and a throw if they want. And that was a good shot. Played that down in front of square leg. And Gadding is just leading on points at the moment. This little battle with Lillee. 100 for 3. And he's picked up Gatting. That's good bowling. He's put that man around there at deep square, taken the batsman's mind off it, and given him an absolute beauty. Martin Kent catches Gatting for 56 off Lillee, and it's 101 for 4. And now we are into an interesting little bit.
And now to drive it away, good shot. That round was won by Mike Brearley. The end is 5 or 5:30, so some time left. And that's it. Paul Parker. Martin Kent's 3rd catch of the innings, and very easily taken at first slip. Terry Alderman, incidentally, has hit the record book. Equals Rodney Hogg's 41 wickets in Australia-England Test Match Series. Typically Botham. Just a little defensive push for 3. Oh, well, he just leaned into it and away it went. Well, there's the back cliff Ted Dexter was talking about, and just a tiny suggestion of follow through. It was all timing, like a rocket. Might be out. Well, wrong shot to the wrong ball. Absolutely straight. Terry Alderman firing that in short of a length.
Right, short, made for it, nobody out there, 4 safe and certain runs. So in the 51st over, England go past the 152 mark, but have lost 6 wickets getting there. Right again to Brearley. Again, that's the wide run outside the off stump, the one he's been waiting for the whole time. He's put it away quite nicely again, and this time he's got 4 for it. And that's the typical Knott shot again. I need him to move high, wide and handsome over the double gully for 4 more.
Mike Brearley and Alan Knott putting up a really good show there, stout resistance, and 3 more runs were added from that moment to take the score along to 178 for 6 at tea. Here's the second over after the interval, 3 more runs added. Ray Bright, the left-arm spinner, is still bowling over the wicket. Alan Knott's taking strike, and it's Tom Graveney and Tony Lewis in the commentary box.
Typical Knott. The extravagant sweep shot. Good shot. Off the meat of the bat, and a long run there for Graham Wood. Run 3 and run 4.
There for Knott, but a very good start too. Graham Yallop keeping it down to a single, but that 1 run brings 200 up for England. Yallop to Brearley. That's it. Nice quick wide of mid-on. Brearley takes a single, which I must say gives him a very satisfying 50. Two and a quarter hours for his 50 here in this, the final test. 6-7 fours. Just stood up and whacked that. was over the ropes before anybody had a chance to move. And he's going to get it. There it goes. Steered away square this time. Take him under 52. And what a good innings this has been for Alan Knott. His second 50 in the series, and this one almost matching that very cheeky effort up at Old Trafford.
Oh, well bowled. That's a super piece of bowling to come on there just in preparation for the taking of the second new ball and take the wicket of the England captain with a marvellous leg cutter. And it was a pretty good catch as well. Well, that could be it. The man who has got Australia into such marvellous positions on this tour, Alan Border, might just have dropped the one that makes all the difference.
Well, John Embree just stuck his leg well forward there. That's what saved him.
And the final test match here is drawn. 261 for 7 England.
Well away from the central wicket.
And England win the series 3-1 with 2 draws. 261 for 7. 3 frustrating wickets away from a victory that would have allowed Australia to go home, losing the series only 3-2. But what a good batting performance it was from Gatting, who made 56, Brearley 51 in what might just be his last test match in England or anywhere else for that matter. And Alan Knott with that new method. My word, it's effective. 70 not out, and they kept the Australian bowlers at bay. A great performance from Dennis Lillee again. He almost pulled it off. He wanted to give the England spectators something to remember him by. Well, there were 4 wickets there for 70 runs, and that'll go part of the way to ensuring that. Alderman 2 for 60, and Whitney 1 for 46. Whitney bowled with plenty of pace in a few overs there from the pavilion end. Right, well, the presentation came as soon as the players came off the field. Man of the match was Dennis Lillee. He bowled superbly in the first innings. He equalled his best ever match figures, 11 wickets, and his best ever figures in an innings, 7 for 89. It was quite a superb performance from a man who is now chasing Lance Gibbs' record of 309 wickets. Great performance from him, and man of the series, well, I won't give you 3 guesses for that. It was Ian Botham, who just about won 3 matches on his own. That marvellous century at Headingley. And then he went on to Edgbaston, where he took 5 for 1 in that spell that knocked over the Australians for that ridiculously small total. And then another century up at Old Trafford. A fantastic performance, and I really haven't seen anything like it in all the time I've been watching cricket. Peter West, straight after the presentation, had the good fortune to be able to talk to Mike Brearley and Kim Hughes, the captains of the respective sides.
Well, Kim, in the end, it was a final frustration for you, wasn't it?
Yes, I thought Alan Knott played very, very well, and indeed Mike. When we had England 6 down, I thought we were going to win, but I think that a lot of bowling eventually told on Dennis or Terry, although you never know. I mean, Dennis bowled 1 ball in the last over. He first balled the last over. That was as quick and as good as he'd bowled all day. So it was a very interesting game, which unfortunately we just didn't quite get up. But once again, the spectators won, I thought.
And Mike, you were able to play a positive personal role in preserving your unbeaten records as a Test skipper in this country.
What you're trying to say is for a change.
Not at all.
Well, yes, it was nice. It was a good game of cricket again. I mean, there were ups and downs all the way through. Again, I thought, we really bowled our way back into the match on the second day, and then batted really well. And then there was this collapse against the new ball, Dennis again and Terry Alderman. And then we bowled our way back again, 105 for 4. And with certain unfitnesses, and I thought
it was hard work yesterday for your bowlers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's hard work, especially when people aren't properly fit. But it was a tremendous effort to get back into the game, and I suppose even then one
might have made us, might have made it a really tense match from the point of view of win, lose or draw.
With the benefit of hindsight, would you have batted first?
Well, I think it was a 50-50. I thought that with a bit of luck we might have got some wickets that first morning, and the pitch was at its fastest. The bounce was also at its truest, and I think you could say it's 50-50.
Kim, it has been, I know you've been on the wrong end of it, a quite tremendous series in which public interest has been enormous.
Yes, it has. Obviously, I think a lot has got to do with England winning. I just wonder whether people here would have thought it's been such a tremendous series if we'd actually been 3 or 4 up. But and I think that's really what you've got to get down to, producing players that are going to help you win. And I think we've produced some players that are really going to hold Australia instead throughout the 80s. And whilst we're naturally disappointed, I'm very, very pleased with the way a lot of the players have really developed and really come from nowhere. As we said earlier in the tour, a lot of inexperienced players, or people that the English people didn't know much about, but I'm sure when we leave from here they'll know about the Aldermans and the Wellhams and know how good Alan Border is, etc., and that sort of thing.
And some sterling performances by the older hands, Lily and Marsh.
Yes, you keep saying how good they are, etc., and Dennis, he said he was going to leave England with people remembering him, etc., and it's only the very, very great players that can produce it when it really counts, and Dennis is 7 for, and then today he's bowling. I think even Barry Meyer said to him, he said there just couldn't have been a better bowler anywhere at any time. And I said to him, if there was, it wasn't worth batting then.
Mike, your final thoughts on an extraordinary series and the English highlights?
Well, a hell of a lot of luck, of course, but also a lot of tremendous performances again. And you've got to mention 2 people, Ian Botham, obviously, batting and bowling, and fielding, catching. And Bob Willis, because he was a man who suddenly made, if there was a difference for, say, 2 or 3 tests, it was in the bowling, it was Bob Willis. I don't know if Kim would agree, but I mean, after the first 2.5, until this last one, a difference in bowling was that Bob Willis really ran in and bowled quickly and straight, and he got back his old fire. And over that period with Jeff Lawson and Rodney Hogg not fully fit, it was our luck, our game. I mean, he was the one bowler who was able to, at times, bowl really fast.
Well, you're not going to India. Have you still ambitions to play more Test cricket?
Well, I didn't know. I've given them up a few times, really. No, not really. It's a nice way to finish, and it'd be nice to win, of course, but I'd be very fortunate.
Well, I think you'll be satisfied with holding the Ashes and winning the series.
Yes, I would, yeah. Quite right.
Kim, thanks a lot for all your cooperation throughout the tour.
Fine, thanks very much indeed, Peter.
Well, there's 2 happy captains, and so they should be, in my opinion. A marvellous series, 3-1 to England, but it was a series that at one stage looked as though it might be all dull and predictable, and I won't say boring, because cricket never is boring to those of us who watch it all around the world, but it could have been predictable. Well, a few of the players in both sides made sure that that didn't happen. Marvellous game at Headingley, a wonderful one at Edgbaston against all the odds, and then Old Trafford, and now here at the Oval. And just how and why it happened perhaps is best summed up by the chairman of the England Selection Committee, Alec Betzer.
But there's been one figure outstanding on this series, which I don't think you need me to say who, and it's Ian Botham. We name the man of